Welcome to Everything House Music and More. And my special guest today is legend. You hear his voice everywhere, and we will call him the voice of house music, Mr. Chuck Roberts. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful, man, and thank you for asking, Maurice. And it's a privilege and a pleasure, and I'm humbled to have this situation and be involved with this, man.
Hey, brother,
So
I am just excited to have you here, man, because I want people to know your story.
Appreciate that.
You ready to get into it?
As much as we can, bro.
Well, let's go. Here we go.
Let's do it.
So, Chuck,
Yes, sir.
where did you grow up, and how did that influence you musically?
I grew up on the west side of Chicago.
West side?
Heart of the west side, 16th Street.
Ooh.
You know, anywhere between 16th and 22nd.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we did it. You know, Ridgeway, Hamlin, Central Park. Anybody that knows Chicago, the west side, that's the heart of the west side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some folk might be familiar with the Holy City. You know, that's the little term that we got over there for
Right,
that.
right.
That's what that is, man. But that's why I started out, man. And then we kind of ventured off a little farther west, and we moved on up to like Madison Street.
Okay.
And that's when the house stuff started. You know, a place called the Factory.
Oh, the Factory.
Folk know anything about that there.
Yes,
But yeah, man. You know, Heart of the West Side, one of the biggest parties through there, and that's kind of like where I was exposed to house music at,
Okay.
because we had a band and we was doing R&B, but there was a studio inside of that building, and then there was like young DJs that was just coming up, and they was putting that thing together. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is different. This ain't what we doing. They got a whole nother vibe.
Right.
And we started listening, and we figured out and found out that this is house music. Oh, this is the thing right here.
Right.
You know, so
at that time you was listening. Who was DJing at that time?
Quick Mix Claude,
Okay.
Jam and Gerald. I can't remember everybody.
Right.
Man, there was so many cats. I'm trying to think. And all of those of you that see this, guys, if I don't remember y'all name, we're talking 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Much love and much respect to all y'all. But I really remember Claude, because Claude did the record, and me and Claude were close.
Okay.
You know, we had a friendship as well as a working relationship, man.
Right.
But it was like Greg the Master, man. There was so many cats,
Okay.
man. I just don't remember everybody's name.
And the Factory was located where again?
On Madison and Kilpatrick, that's a block away from Cicero.
Yeah.
A block east of Cicero.
Okay. Now, you said you got introduced to house at that time.
Yeah.
So, to the term of house music, what year was that then, Chuck?
That would have been 86.
86.
Yeah.
Okay. And what high school did you go to?
I went to Farragut.
Oh, Farragut. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Admiral. Yep.
Okay. So what were some of your first house experience, and what songs impacted you at that time?
Man, you know, we're digging way back. I just got a few songs. I liked everybody.
Right.
But I dug the Peach Boys, man.
Okay.
Man, everybody's escaping me. Come on, help me out here. And man, of course, Adonis.
Right.
Man, like all the cats, Vince Lawrence,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and pretty much everybody. Most of the Chicago homegrown people, man, you know, I was into that Chicago sound. That's what I was introduced first, man. But
Okay.
yeah, people like that.
Okay. So in your opinion, how did house music get its name?
Man, because it was, first of all, it was in the house. You know what I'm saying? And it's a vibe. It was a vibe, and the house music has its own identity. It could be separated and identified completely different from anything else that was going out or coming out, and anything that was around at the time, because house music had the ability to do things that other music didn't do. You know, it was different stuff going on, of course, R&B
Right.
and hip hop and everything. Everybody had their own identity, but house music was in a class, man, by itself, and it did things that other genres of music just didn't do, man.
Okay.
You know?
So you don't think the term was shortened from the warehouse like everybody say in the past, or you saying it came from the house?
That's what I think. I think I might be wrong. That's just my opinion.
No. That's why I just want to make sure.
I think it came from being in the house and house having its own vibe. The word house is related to home. And that's kind of like it was, man. It brought people together like family. Okay. That's just my interpretation of it. When people ask me this, that's how I explain it, man. You know, house music was music that you dealt with, had a home vibe, man. Made people feel like they was related because they all had a common goal and a common situation, man. Right. So that's, again, just my opinion.
Okay. No. That's what we want, man. I want to get everybody's opinion of where they think house music came from. So your song, My House, in the beginning, is iconic for the genre house. How did you come about that song, and in what year was it released?
We did it in 86, and I believe it was released in 87.
Okay.
The idea came from the track, which was Quick Mix Claude and Bruce Abbott. They were the producers on the record.
Okay.
They had a vibe. They was doing some things, man, aside from that, and they was using
All right,
this,
Chuck, hold on one second, brother. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Before we get into a little further, we're going to do that over again.
Okay.
Because this was an arm on here.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that, brother.
That's okay.
But see, that's how we can get a second take on there.
Yep.
Which would be good. All right. Now we're going to get this. Let me get this straight now, man. I knew it was something looking. I'm like, that ain't working right. Yeah, we're going to stop that. And either way it goes, one more again. Here we go. Welcome to Everything House Music and More. And my special guest today is what you would call the voice of house, Mr. Chuck Roberts. Chuck, how you doing today, brother? Man,
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, and it's a pleasure to be here, man. And I'm humbled by this experience because I'm such a fan of yours.
Oh, my goodness. Stop it.
We're going to get to talk a little bit about something that we have in common, man.
Okay.
But every day, I always say this, every day is a good day.
Yes, sir.
Some days are just better than others. So I'm blessed, man. I'm
Absolutely.
Good.
So you ready to get into it?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it. So, Chuck, where did you grow up, and how did that influence you musically?
I grew up on the west side of Chicago. Anywhere from Pulaski to possibly Kedzie, anywhere from Roosevelt to 22nd Street and everything in between. We got people from the west side know this little caption. It's called like the Holy City.
Right.
That's what we call it over. That's where we're from, 16th Street.
Okay.
That's the area we grew up in, man, where everybody knew everybody, and it was a good situation, man.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, how did you get introduced to the term house music, and in what year was that?
I believe it was 86. And I got introduced to house music from being at a club called The Factory. And there was a couple of DJs that were also producers. As a matter of fact, the record that I did was with one of the DJs, which was Quick Mix Claude.
Okay.
And he had a buddy that was a keyboard player, Bruce Abbott.
Okay.
And they had a dope track, man. And then I started listening to it and listening to more house music,
right.
And then watching the effect that it had on people at the parties.
Yes, sir.
Man, it was unbelievable. I was like, yeah, we might want to do this because we was R&B dudes.
Right.
And listening to, hip-hop was around at that time as well. But house music was new and infectious. It was like, yeah, we might want to check into this.
So you being from the West Side, you had to be a Lil Lewis fan then, right?
Absolutely,
okay.
man.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you remember his parties then?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, all right. So what was some of your first house experience, and which DJs and music or songs impacted you at that time?
Okay, we're going to do just a few because there's so many. But
okay.
I was like a Peach Boys fan,
okay.
Adonis.
All right.
Of course, you mentioned Lil Lewis, man.
Yes.
It was so many guys, but those cats ring a bell. Vince Lawrence,
yes, sir.
That type of situation, man. I was influenced by that, man. I watched what they was doing in that sound. Again, it had a vibe of its own. It just would take you over. Because to me, everybody that was doing that, it was new, it was fresh. Everybody had great ideas, and
right.
man, they was hitting it and they was killing it.
Right. So, what high school were you going to at this time?
Farragut. I went to Farragut High School.
Farragut. Okay, so we was all young and everybody was in school at the time.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, how did house music get its name?
Just my opinion. I think house music has the right situation because when you think of house, you think of home.
Okay.
And when you think of home, you think of family. That's kind of how that whole thing worked out, man. People was like family. That house music stopped a whole lot of unnecessary stuff and brought people together, man. So house, home is related. House music, you in the house with this music, man. You know what I'm saying? That's just my interpretation. May not be correct,
right.
But that's just the way I saw it.
Well, I'm glad you say that because I interviewed Marshall Jefferson, house music anthem, man, Move Your Body.
Yeah, right.
And he was claiming that Wayne and everybody was saying that they said the same thing. The house music came from everybody playing disco and funk inside the house.
Okay.
But Marshall just said, oh, hell no, that was wrong.
Okay.
But I'm like, I love getting everybody's opinion because it tells you that we all came up together, but we definitely got our different opinions on a lot of stuff.
Right.
Which everybody should have.
Absolutely.
So your song, My House, in the beginning, is iconic for the genre of house. How did that come about? And in what year was that released?
We did it in 86, and I believe it was released in 87.
Okay.
And it came about like one of the guys I mentioned before, there was a DJ at the factory, which was Quick Mix Claude. Claude was also a producer, and Bruce Abbott was a producer and a keyboard player. They were doing tracks. They was doing different tracks, and they had other stuff where they were really influenced by Martin Luther King.
Okay.
That I Had a Dream. That was the vibe. They was really into that vibe, which I thought was really impressive because I'm a Martin Luther King fan as well.
Right.
More so, I played into the picture because of our manager and the guy that owned that place. He knew that I was like a church dude because I grew up in the church. You know, we got that double side, we got the street, then we got the church. We'd be a little confused, but it all comes together eventually.
Right.
And so I sang in the choir, praise teams and stuff as a kid. So I had like that gospel sound.
Yes, sir.
And for my whole life, people were saying, "Oh, he gonna be a preacher. He gonna be a preacher."
Right.
You know, so the vibe was easy because I was hearing it my whole life.
Yes, sir.
And when I went to hear it and I heard where they were going, I was like, "Yo, we could do this. Just give me a little bit. Just give me a little bit, and let me do this. I see the vibe where y'all going. Y'all wanted to have kind of like a spiritual experience, and that'll be cool because this genre of music, it is a spiritual trip, man. It has its own being, you know, its own concept. So we could probably do something like that, man. Just give me a few minutes to ponder on this, and we'll come up with something, man. And that's what happened.
So Rhythm Control is all three of you guys together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Say all the rest of you guys are all from the West Side.
Yeah, and we use other people on the project as well. Like one of my best buddies, Billy Sims, did vocals on that record as well. So it was, you know, it's other people that worked on it, but that's really what comes to mind, like Romeo and Claude and Bruce. Yeah, that was the nucleus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I take it that you wrote the lyrics in the beginning, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, because there's been controversy going back and forth with this. Who is Jack?
Jack is the one that gives you the power to do the snake.
Right.
Jack is the one that gives you the key to the wiggly worm. Jack is the one that can bring nations and nations of all Jackers together under one house.
Correct.
That's who Jack is.
Okay, so it's not one person.
No, Jack is actually the entity. If I describe it, Jack is actually an entity because, you know, they was using that to describe the style of dancing.
Correct.
So Jack is the power, the plug, the juice, the go in house music, man. He is not a person.
Well, I have to just put this on the books.
Okay.
Because I was told by a little butterfly in my ear that Jack, you was talking about Farley Jack Master Funk.
Man, I got mad love and mad respect for Farley. Farley is one of the pioneers, super duper talented man as a producer, great as a person. But at that time, I didn't know Farley.
Okay.
I didn't know him. He was Farley Jack Master Funk.
Right.
But that's not how I came up with Jack. I came up with Jack because we was jacking.
Yeah, that was the term when you was dancing.
Exactly. That's you know, no disrespect, Farley. You super dope and all that, but that's where Jack came from. Jack came from the term that described the style of dancing.
Wow. Okay. After all these years, over 30 years, man, did you know at that time that this record that you guys was doing was going to become an iconic staple in house music?
Yeah, man, I know, because we were so dope. No, I'm just kidding. No, had no idea, man.
Right.
At the time, you know, we was just young guys out there feeling the music, man, trying to put it together. But no, we didn't have no inkling, not a clue that this would go on to do and become what it has become.
Wow. So who idea was it to have the acapella? Because at that time, we wasn't doing acapellas a lot, man. And it was like, that's amazing that somebody thought of like, you know what, let's just put the acapella out there. Because I love the record, man, you know, but a lot of people wasn't playing it.
Right.
They would just flip it and just play the acapella. So who idea was it to make the acapella like that?
The genius behind that was Quick Mix Claude.
Wow.
Claude was telling us, he was saying, listen, there's no way you don't want to do acapella for this record, man.
Right.
He said, you just got to do it.
Yeah.
You would do the record a disservice and injustice if you don't. Those lyrics and those words and that sound of that dude, there's no way we're not going to do acapella. So that, I got to give all the credit to Quick Mix Claude. He's the genius that thought about that.
Okay. So how long did it take you to write in the beginning?
Let's see. How long did it take to write it? I heard the track and went home and thought about it, the concept that I wanted to do. And here's a little something that people don't know about me. I'm one of those type of people, I do it first, and then I write it later.
Okay.
So we did that off the dome, man. In like
Really?
5 takes. We did it off the dome. And I wrote it after this. So we got in the studio. The track, I was just in love with the track and with the track, man, and then the concept. Because we talked about it and discussed what, where they wanted to go with it. And I just started spitting it. Like I was telling you, I'm from the church.
Yes, sir.
So there's a lot of spirituality behind that record.
Yeah.
In the beginning, there was Jack. In the beginning, there was the Word. The Word was God, and the Word was with God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not quoting that, but that's where it came from. Okay. A lot of that is scripture based, man.
Okay.
My ideas came from that.
Absolutely.
Being a church boy and that thing, man. And so I was like, man, this house thing, it reminded me of church. Let's go.
Right.
And that's where it came from.
No, because you had a lot of powerful energy behind that, man.
Man, that's that. What people don't know about that, man, is, and I'm not ashamed to tell anybody, I'm a Christian. I have been my whole life, and I always give God props and big ups. And that's where that came from, man. That's what people hear along with the message. Yeah. Man, God gave me a little something, and I give him, kudos for that.
Yes,
God has been awesome in my life. And that sound you hear, that's that gift that God gave me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why it's been often imitated but never duplicated.
Absolutely.
It's only one gift per person that does exactly what it does. And again, all praises be to God for that, man. But that's what they hear. They hear that church, man, that spiritual background, and that uplifting, feeling from the spirit, man.
Right. So tell me how it came about, you collaborating with Terry Hunter from The Chosen Few to re-release that record on Ultra.
That idea came from my manager.
Okay.
Mr. Aaron Burks.
Okay.
Plus, I knew that Terry was a super dope DJ and producer, man.
Absolutely.
And it was an honor and a privilege to work with him, man. And man, it was just magic. Right. Working with him, I knew a lot of things that he had done. I knew he was more than qualified, man.
Yes, sir.
And talked about it again. Aaron set up that type of stuff. He and my attorney, Jeff Becker. And man, it just kind of rolled into it. It was easy to do because of the people that was working on the project, man. Right. And in terms of that thing going into Ultra, that basically played out through my management team and Terry and them. They did that. That was a collaboration. Nice. They figured that thing out. I didn't really have anything to do with it. I was just, the cat in the middle on the project with that.
Right. Now, doing that, was the rest of the rhythm control team involved in it, or was it just you?
Yeah, it was just me.
Okay.
Yeah, because we talking 30 years later. So, do I know where they are? Kind of, sort of, but we weren't like in contact or anything like that. Okay. But yeah, it was just me on that situation.
Definitely. So the iconic Beyonce has a Renaissance tour out right now, and it was just heard all over the world, man, that she opened up her show with your acapella. Tell me how you feel about that, and just I just want you to tell it. Go ahead.
Man, all blessings to God, bruh. Again, that's what you're going to always get out of me. Whenever anything good or anything exciting, or for the lack of a better word, top shelf, all these things that come into fruition, man, I give the credit to God.
Yes.
And to describe it from a natural standpoint, man, it's unbelievable, man. Like and not to be bragging, I've been blessed with a few things after re-emerging into house music.
Yes.
But this right here, the thing with Beyonce, man, was just unbelievable, man. And I'm humbled by that, because they could have picked anything else to do that, because there's so much stuff to pick from. Correct. But man, it was amazing, almost unbelievable. Like when Aaron called me, they set it up. My manager and my attorney, they set that thing up, man. And like, I didn't know about it when it first happened. They waited a couple of days. And then Aaron called me and said, well, man, listen, you sitting down, I got a little something I want to talk to you about. And I was like, okay, well, then you tell me something like Beyonce and them want to use the, the speech on the show. I'm like, who shot who? Right. And it was like, man, unbelievable. And I'm humbled by that, man, and just so appreciative to God for the opportunity. And plus, not only that, just the fans creating that situation, man, the people. Yes. That's where it all starts from. The nucleus starts from the people, because had the DJs not kept playing it, and that the people not showing their enjoyment for it, man, and lifting it up and placing it to where it is. It's really the people, man. The fans are really the people that's responsible for that, because they kept it alive, man. So kudos to everybody who's ever played it, everybody who's ever enjoyed it and talked about it, man. They really the true superstars, man, for doing it, man. So, man, I don't know if that explains it, but
it's crazy that you said that. They wanted an MJ speech, with MK speech. Because if you figure, that is our version of Martin Luther King's
Check
speech
that out.
for house music. I mean, you can open up with that. Whenever you play that a cappella over anything, people go nuts.
Yeah, your God
You
is
know?
good, bro.
So after the rhythm control thing, did you do any records after that?
I didn't do any more house records. Well, actually, I did do a few more house records, but they didn't really materialize into anything like that. And actually, that record opened up the doors for me to get another record deal. I signed with a label called ZYX.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did. But what we did is we did that record on top of another record. And
Now, what year was this?
that was in '87, I believe.
Wow.
'87 or '88.
With ZYX at that time?
Yeah, that was like in probably '88.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what it was called. What was that record with ZYX? It was. I can't even remember what it was called.
If we remember, we'll
But
put it
yeah,
in the comments.
yeah, season fine. But yeah, now that record went double platinum with ZYX with that speech on top of it.
Really?
Yeah, it went double platinum.
Okay.
So again, another boost.
Yeah.
You know, with that situation. But I did like 3 or 4 other songs, but nothing materialized because actually the deal with ZYX dissolved
Right.
because we came to creative differences and it just didn't.
So after that record, did you work with any like up and coming Chicago producers at the time, like a Marshall, Chip E, or anything? Did you work with anybody during that time?
I did not.
Really?
I did not. I would have loved to, but
Yeah.
I did not because again, we was R&B dudes and hip hop dudes, so that's kind of like moved on into that type of thing, man.
Wow.
And doing that type of stuff.
So moving forward, Chuck, what does the future hold for Mr. Chuck Roberts right now?
Man, I just want to keep on doing what I'm doing, man. I want to keep spreading words of love, man, and inclusion, you know what I'm saying, and bringing people together, man. Most of the stuff that you hear, my messages, they're going to talk about. That's what they're going to talk about. They're going to talk love and inclusion and everybody treating everybody equal.
Yes,
that type of situation, man. That's my foundation, man. That comes from the church.
Yes.
But that's what it is. I'd like to do some more records. If I don't know if I'll ever do another record like in the beginning.
Yes.
If I'm blessed,
Right.
I'm here for it, man. But that's really my thing, man. I want to just keep spreading love through my music, man, and bringing people together, man, and causing, especially in the times that we're in now, man, that's what we need. We need positive stuff and people that want to hear it, man. I'm here to deliver it, bro.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So besides that, is there anything you want to let the audience know that they don't know, what they don't know about Chuck Roberts right now, besides you get this iconic speech record? Is there anything else you want them to know about Mr. Chuck Roberts?
If I could say, what a lot of people don't know about me is that I'm a singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
I
found out too. I found out too. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter and I write and I produce, I definitely want to dabble in that, man. And not just for myself. I mean, if there's artists that are looking for stuff, man,
Yes, sir.
I'm out there. Just look me up, hit me up. I do all types of music.
Yes.
Of course, y'all know house is numero uno.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Actually, Christian music is numero uno.
That's
and
true.
house falls right behind that. So,
Well, God created that too.
Absolutely.
So I think it's all one. So
Absolutely. I
we got to say,
appreciate that,
if He
bro.
created what He does, He knows what's going on.
Absolutely.
He knows all.
Absolutely.
So the people who just been sleeping under the rock and they really don't know Mr. Chuck Roberts, just give them the 3 beginning of your song, and then we gonna end it off like that, brother.
I got you.
All right.
In the beginning, there was Jack, and Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. One day, while viciously throwing down on his box, Jack boldly declared, "Let there be house." And this is fresh.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right here first. Mr. Chuck Roberts, thank you very much, brother, for doing this.
You're so welcome,
I
brother.
just love this because I want people to know your story. Social media, can they reach out to you? Where they can reach you out at?
BookingChuckRoberts.com.
Okay.
It's a couple other places, but that's mainly at BookingChuckRoberts.com.
Right.
I'm everywhere, man.
Reach out to this brother. He can
Facebook.
really sing, y'all. Don't let this voice right here fool you. Just by preaching and doing these speeches, this man can sing too, y'all.
Bless you, sir. Thank
All
you,
right, brother. Thank you for doing this, Shucks. I love you, man. Thank you for this, man.
Likewise, brother.
Peace
Thank
out,
you, sir.
brother.
Mhm.